What's up, YouTube? Everyone who's watching, thank you. Today we're gonna talk about, just off the dome, 10 reasons why quitting pot is a great decision. So, I've smoked weed since, first time I smoked I was 16. So 16, I only smoked a few times when I was 16. When I was 17, I got heavy into it, and then I smoked all the way up to, I quit 2 weeks before my 27th birthday. So 10 years of smoking weed. And I'm 27, so it's a good percent of my life. More than 33% of my life I've been smoking weed. Yeah. The whole time, well, not the whole time, but the last like 5, maybe 6 years, I've been wanting to quit, and it was pretty like painful that I wanted to quit something, but I couldn't, and I continued on for 6 more years of smoking, even though I knew I wanted to stop, and I wish I never started. Because I lost, I guess, number one, you lose a lot of ambition from smoking weed. I was doing great, did good in school, athletically did great, was working out for like most of my life. And once I got heavy into weed, everything kind of fell apart. I got kicked off the wrestling team, which really hurt, and that was directly involved with weed, because I started hanging out with kids who were smoking, and we ended up doing something stupid, so I got kicked off the team. If I never smoked, I never would have hung out with those kids, and yeah, I would have finished my wrestling career. My senior year, I was smoking all the time, so I was just sleeping in class, not, you know, I still passed with good grades, but I wasn't pushing myself by any means. And I was cutting class, missing class. And for what? To go out into the woods and smoke with some kids? You don't gain anything out of that. I don't talk to any of those people anymore. So that was a waste of time. At least the schoolwork I put in, or relationships I made with people being sober, I would still have that today. Number 2, you save a bunch of money by not smoking. So in my 10 years of smoking, I've easily spent $100,000 plus on weed. Especially towards the end, I was pretty bad with it. I was spending $100 a day. I'd buy a half a day for $100. It would last me like a day and a half, and I would buy like 2 packs of backwoods. So like $120 I was spending almost a day just on smoking weed and the supplies needed. So yeah, that money added up very quickly, and I could have had all that saved and invested, but instead it's just wasted and smoked and in my lungs. So $100 grand just thrown away when I could have put that towards something that would have benefited me. So that's 2 things. Another one is it affects your life with your family and your actual friends who care about you, not just want to get high with you. I would spend a majority of the day just outside smoking, hanging out with people, getting high, eating, going to get high somewhere else. And I lost a lot of time with my family because I decided to get high. Well, because I was addicted, so it made it difficult to, you know, you don't think straight when you're addicted to something. The addiction is priority. You have to fulfill it. That's the most important thing in your life at the moment. So that's number 3. It affects your family life and your real friend life. And I would have had better relationships with my family and my friends if I never started smoking weed. Number 4, it affects your confidence, because if you're always doing something you don't want to do, you can't have that max confidence you would have, because you're not as strong as you should be, because you're always doing something you don't want to do, so it affects your confidence. It kind of gets you down, and you end up being a little upset because of that. So obviously you're not going to be as confident as you should be if you're like, yeah, no, I don't smoke weed. Like, that's very confident, rather than being like, yeah, I smoke weed, and then you're high and you're just more mellow and less likely to assert yourself. So that's 4. Number 5 is it gets you in a lot of legal trouble. It's becoming more and more legal nowadays, but weed in general has gotten me over 10 summonses where I've had to go to court every time. I've gotten arrested like 3 times because of weed, maybe even more. One time cops searched the car, and there was a lot of, he thankfully only found a joint, because the kid I was hanging out with had a pound on him, and this was over 8 years ago, when that would have got us in a whole boatload of trouble. So you associate with people you shouldn't be associated with, and it leads to legal issues. Got arrested once for having a wax pen, which is considered heroin, or was at the time. It's on the same level as it, for concentrated form of weed. So I got arrested for that. I had to spend, I think, $1,000 on a lawyer, which wasn't too bad, maybe $2,000. Me and my friend. And the first thing we did when we got out is we smoked the blunt that was left in the car. I got a DWI once because I was smoking weed. I got pulled over, and yeah, I happened to tell the cop that, yeah, he was checking for alcohol. I told him I didn't drink nothing, but I did smoke. Figured, a little honesty wouldn't hurt. No, that's driving while ability impaired, so that was fun. I got arrested for that, and that cost me about $10,000. So we could add that to the spending money funds as well. So I'm probably over the $100,000. And then you could add up the amount of money that would have made me $120,000 in my pocket. What could I have done with that if I invested it back then, which I was into, but I was always spending money when I shouldn't be? That could easily be $1 million right now. I always liked investing, and $100,000 throughout 10 years would have grown to something really nice today. And also, because of that DWI thing, I had to go to an outpatient program for 9 months, and I had to piss in a cup every day, or 3 days a week. And yeah, that was fun. I still smoked those whole 9 months, and I would do crazy things to pass that drug test. I would drink a gallon of water right before the meeting, and I would take like 3 pisses. This way my 4th one would be clear as water. And if it's as clear as water, side note, anyone who wants to pass a drug test, if you're pissing water, you're passing. I also bought a Whizzinator, which is a fake penis that you put, like, it comes with powder. You put the powder in there, mix it up, and you have it's medical grade urine that you end up with. So so I would wear this fake penis, and I would pee in front of the guy, and you had to click this little button, and the pee would start coming out, and it was yellow. They could have tested it in the lab, it would have been good. And yeah, that's just kind of crazy. And it was $80 for every fake pee thing. The Whizzinator itself was like $150, and then every time I needed more pee, it was another 80 bucks. I used my dog's pee once to pass the test. You just do crazy things. Why? And another time, I mean, that was the whole thing right there. So that's number 5. You get in a lot of legal trouble. Number 6 is, I guess you get, I mean, I already said you get unmotivated, but you get lazy. You get real lazy. You stop doing the things you care about, because now all you care about is smoking weed. And that's the most important thing in your life. So it makes you lazy. Even if it makes you 10% lazier, that 10% is a lot to lose, and it's also a lot to gain. Because when I quit weed, I gained a lot of motivation and not lazy anymore. You know, I'm trying to become more and more productive. I'm becoming more and more productive. So that's 6. It makes you lazy. Number 7 is it's not healthy for you. It's not. You might think, oh, it lowers blood pressure, all this stuff. But no, you're inhaling, or however you're doing, ingesting, inhaling smoke into your lungs. It's essentially a toxin. And yeah, obviously your lungs don't want smoke in it. So I spent a lot of time just, you know, producing phlegm I shouldn't be producing. So yeah. Number 6, it's not healthy for you. And instead of smoking weed, I would have been working out, going for runs, working on myself. So, not good. Number 7 is, it's like, if you're growing up and you're young like I was when you started, it changes your brain structure, the way you think. Because I grew up as essentially an addict, always wanting to smoke, and I was always getting these quick highs and these quick rewards. That's what addicts look for. Even people who smoke cigarettes, you get a quick reward from it, quick buzz. So it's a pew, pew. That's not what you want. You want like a gradual reward. You want to earn something. Instead, I was feeling like I was earning something by smoking, but there was nothing to be gained from it. Number 8. What could number 8 be? I'm just going off the top of my head here. Number 8, I guess, could be changes your path in life. I was on a very, very good path, very structured path, that I know if I never would have started smoking, I would have made a lot more progress than I have made, and gotten a lot further, because I probably would have had a business started by now. And this is all like what ifs, but that was the path I was on. I was very, very motivated, and I wanted big things for myself. I still want big things for myself, and I'm gonna get there. I just delayed the process a little. So it changes your life path, because I was on a nice sober path, and then I started getting high and hanging out with the wrong people, and then most of the people I hung out with were addicts, essentially, people who just want to get high real quick. So my life path went from this to that. So I feel like almost no progress was made when I started smoking weed. Of course, I made little gains here and there, but the path became way more shakier. Number 9. Takes up a lot of time. You lose a lot of time in your life. I used to spend, especially towards the end, like almost 6 to 8 hours just outside getting high, driving around in my car, and all that time, you know, in total is like, could be a year of my life just spent smoking and getting high. And there's no reward there. There's nothing to be gained. There's really not. You're much better being sober and having a path and sticking on that path. Because all that time you lose, all we have in life is time. That's the one thing we all have. And how we use that time depends on how we, what our outcome is and what we turn out to be. So you have to use your time wisely and not unproductively, and use it on getting high. Number 9, makes you stupider. Doesn't make you smarter. You're all that time spent getting high could have been done on a productive activity like reading books or working out, educating yourself, taking school more seriously. So you would be further in your life if you quit smoking weed, or if you've never stopped smoking weed. And number 10, there's a lot I could actually talk about. There's a lot of things. Sorry, my nose is bothering me. The month of September gives me allergies all the time. Let's make number 10 a good one. It could ruin your life. Number 10 is, it could ruin your life. So, why would you want to ruin your life? Based off the other 9 things I said, we'll say number 10 is weed ruins your life. All those things working against you, why would you put those odds against yourself? Always put the odds in your favor. Do things that are going to make you a stronger, healthier, wealthier person. And getting high all the time, or just getting high in general, affects all 3 of those aspects. The happy, because you're only happy when you're high, so your true happiness is never there. The wealthy, you're obviously spending money on the weed, losing money on lawyers, losing money on not being ambitious and gaining more money. So, and obviously the healthy, smoking weed, you end up not wanting to go to the gym, eating unhealthy. It affects your mind. You end up becoming an addict, where your mind just isn't thinking right. You're always trying to get high. That's your main priority, and it's not beneficial by any means. You need a sober mindset, and you could achieve natural highs, natural happiness, instead of relying on getting high to be happy. So yeah, those are the 10 reasons to quit weed. 10 negative reasons to quit weed. I'm gonna do a video on the 10 positive reasons to quit. And I guess I had to become an addict in order to learn the positive things about it, about quitting. So all the negatives, everyone who's addicted knows the negatives, but when you quit, you learn all the positives, and the negatives are all the way down here, the positives are all the way up here. So that's how you got to look at every decision in your life. Will the decision, or the negatives here on that decision, and if the positives are here, and you got to go with the positive part. You got to make that choice if there's way more positives than negatives. If there's more negatives, stay away from that. Don't do that thing. It's not worth it. So yeah, that's the 10 negative things about smoking weed. Anyone watching still, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what's bad about weed, why you want to quit, what I missed, which negatives I missed, because I could probably write a book on it. And yeah, have a great day. Stay sober, stay happy, healthy, and wealthy. Peace.